What's up, everyone? Welcome to Unleashed episode number 2. We've got a great episode for you today. Today, we're going to be talking about the need to be consistent and how consistency will drive your success, not just in the short term, but in the long term as well. For those that don't know me, my name is Justin Borg, and on this podcast, we talk about everything from fitness, mindset, success, family, all those kind of topics, which really are the culmination of the things that we do every single day. It's pretty unscripted. It's sometimes it's just what has been happening in the world as we see it, things that I see every day in my businesses, and trying to help you guys become the best version of yourself. That's why I call it Unleashed, because we're trying to unleash the power from within you to become the best version of yourself. And like I said, this episode, we're going to be talking about creating long-term success. And really that has to do with consistency. And unfortunately, consistently, we see in the world people quitting, people stop. It gets too hard. They can't do it anymore. And when it gets hard, they change direction. And I used to be one of those people. I used to get to a point where things got really hard and I would go, nope, it's not for me, and change course, change tact, find something different, look for that shiny obstacle, that shiny object that I go, hey, I'm going to go and do that. Or, hey, I'm going to go do that. And ultimately, what you end up doing is you end up just self-sabotaging. It was something that I didn't know I was doing, but I was literally self-sabotaging my own success long term because I couldn't just stay on a path. All right. And this is probably the thing that I see the most. And as someone that is obviously in the fitness industry, we see it all the time. People quit for whatever reason. It gets too hard. Life gets in the way and they quit. And what happens is 6 months down the track, they're like starting again. And then they're starting again. And then they're starting again. Because they get to a point where they just sabotage what they've been working on. And so we need to work out a way that we can stay consistent. Now, I want to be very, very clear. Consistency is what you're doing on a regular basis. It doesn't mean that you have to be doing everything every day, all right? And I think this is the trap we fall into. As a society, we've become this all in or all out kind of society. We can't find middle ground. And what happens is we go hard when we're motivated, we go hard, and then we burn out and we quit because we can't maintain the rage. We can't maintain that level of intensity and focus long term. And so we quit. And so we go back to the start or we stop. And then once that motivation or that pain for change comes back again, we start again and we go hard again, and we're in it and we go hard, and then we have to stop again because we can't maintain it. We lose focus. We're not doing all the little things that we need to do to support that level of focus and energy and engagement on a consistent basis. Today, we're going to talk about those topics. Consistency is about what you can maintain long term. Not about what you do this week, not about what you do next week. It's about, can you maintain that level of engagement for the next 6 months, 12 months, 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, for the rest of your life. It's not how hard you go now, stop, go hard again, stop. That's inconsistent. I've never seen someone build long-term results or get long-term results and build long-term success by fast, stop, fast, stop, fast, stop. If you're driving your car and you've got your destination you want to get to, you consistently keep a pace and you get there. But if you go too hard and then you have to stop because you're broken down, you have to wait for the RAC to come along, they fix your car, then you get going again. And then something happens, obstacle in the way, you got to slow down, go again. You're increasing the risk of car accident, etc., etc. You may not get to that destination that you're looking for. But if you can be consistent that whole journey, find a consistent pace, break it up as you go along, then you're going to get to that destination that you have been striving to get to. Consistency starts with a plan. Well, actually, before we even get to the plan, it starts with a goal. What's the goal? You know, what are we trying? What does success look like for you? What are you trying to achieve? You know, and then once we have a goal, we can then develop a plan. Now, for me, when I'm talking about success, it could be success in my health and fitness. It could be success in business. Everything comes down to, in my eyes, having a plan and following that structured plan. And that plan is built around my 5 habits of everyday health. If I get my health right, if I get what I'm doing for myself right, then I know that ultimately that next focus is going to be on maybe business, success in business. When I'm not achieving success in business, if I take a step back, 9 times out of 10, I'm not doing the 5 to keep myself accountable and engaged. Those 5 being sleeping well, eating well, moving well, reducing my stress, hydrating well. If I'm doing those 5, then I know that I will be more focused on my business to build that success. If I'm in a funk, then it's generally because I'm not doing those 5. And those 5 are not difficult things to do. Most of them, in some way, shape, or form, we're kind of doing. We're already hydrating. It's just a question of what we're putting in our body. We're already eating. So again, what are you actually putting in your body? From there, let's look at society. So we sleep, but the majority of us have no sleep pattern and we sleep like shit because we're not moving, we're fueling ourselves incorrectly, and we're highly stressed and we don't know how to reduce our stress. And 9 times out of 10, that stress has come from just not planning for what we're trying to achieve. When you've got a roadmap, when you've got a plan, you follow the plan, it becomes so much easier. When you want to get somewhere, you go to Google Maps. How do I get here? And it gives you the roadmap, it gives you the plan. But do you have a plan for your life? Do you have a plan for your success? Do you have a plan for your training? Because if you're just going into the gym and going, what am I going to do today? 9 times out of 10, you'll end up doing something you don't need to do. You'll do the easiest thing, which is not always the best thing to be doing. Actually, it's never the best thing. Nothing good ever comes from just doing the easy thing. You jump on the treadmill for 5 to 10 minutes, you're done, you go, it's all too hard, and you walk out. But when you've got a plan, when you know what you're up for when you're walking in, you can execute on that plan. Plan for your success. Do you have a plan for your life? Do you have a plan for your finances? Do you have a plan for your health and fitness? Right? People that have a plan are 9 times out of 10 more likely going to actually execute and achieve on that plan. Yet too many people are just on a whim. They take it day by day. They have no idea what's happening tomorrow, no idea what's happening next week, no idea what's happening next month. And because they have no idea, they quit. It all gets too hard. They get overwhelmed and they have no structure to move forward. So once you've worked out what your goal is, create your plan. For me, my plan comes from what's called the Perfect Week Formula by a guy named Craig Ballantyne. He's a fantastic business and mindset coach. And I've developed this plan, and it is changing. It is always fluid, all right? But it is about me creating that perfect week. What do I want my week to look like? For me, there needs to be time for family. There needs to be time for exercise and training. There needs to be time for business, and there needs to be time for me. They're my four, all right? Family, business, fitness, me, all right? And if there isn't time for those four things, then something is amiss. So how do I go about planning my week? It's pretty simple. I get out a piece of paper, I break it into the days, I break it into the times. Now, if you're someone that's an employee that goes to work, all right, your work hours are pretty structured. So you fill those in first. And for most people, I'm just going to be real generic here, it's 9 to 5, plus maybe an hour before and after for travel, all right? That's your work. You've got to put that in there. That's pretty much a non-negotiable. At the end of the day, your job gives you the income to live your life. So that's part number one. The next part is you need to put in your meals or your meal time, family time. Family time is really important. You've got to have that non-negotiable. So if you've got kids, how much time are you actually spending with your kids? Actively present, spending that time with your kids. Do you have a regular date night? When do you spend time with your partner? Not in the day-to-day grind and rat race. So you've got to put that time in. Your non-negotiables. Sometimes it's running the kids around. There's nothing you can do about it. You've got to have that time in there. All right? That's not a bad thing. You chose the path. We chose to have kids. All right? I've got two of my own. If I'm not running one to footy, I'm running one to tutoring, to dancing, wherever it may be, to the gym, right? Until they become self-sufficient. That's the way it goes. All right? So you've got to put them in there. They're your non-negotiables. Training. When are you training? Often when we go through this process, everyone says, I don't have time. Go through this process of planning out your week and you will see that you have time. I like to refer to training probably more like movement, okay? We need to move every day. That doesn't mean you need to go to the gym every day. It doesn't mean you need to run 10Ks every day, but you need to move. Get your steps in. Get your training session in. Get your yoga in. Get your Pilates in. Whatever it may be, whatever lights your fire, just get moving every single day. Put it in your week. Sleep. Sleep is probably the most neglected part of your perfect week. Regular sleep. Going to bed at the same time every night, waking up at the same time every morning. We're habitual creatures. Our brain doesn't like variety, it likes regularity. So keep it regular. What time are you going to bed? What time are you getting up in the morning? I like to work backwards. So I need to put my training in, or when I'm going to do my exercise, when I'm going to walk my dog, etc., etc. When is that going to be? For most busy professionals, it's probably going to be in the morning, potentially. Put it in. And then work backwards for your 7 hours sleep. So if you're going to get up at 4:30 in the morning to go to the gym at 5, what time do you need to work backwards to know when you need to wake up? What does that work out to be? Probably around 9 o'clock. You need to be in bed by 9 o'clock. So you get up at 4:30. That's your 7.5 hours. If you can do that on a consistent basis, all right, you are having some good wins. Absolutely. You've built a nice structured routine, etc. But what people do is they get to the end of the day, they're scrolling on social media, maybe they had a coffee later in the afternoon, they can't go to sleep, and they're inconsistent. And inconsistency is not the path to success. consistency, daily habits, doing what needs to be done every single day. Not what you want to do, what has to be done every single day is what is going to take you to where you are now and where you want to be. So we spoke about you need to have a goal. Long-term goals, short-term goals. Very important. You need to build a plan. And then we need to break that plan down and look at what we're doing. Is the exercise or the movement that I've put in my plan, is it aligned with the goal that I'm trying to achieve from a fitness perspective? There's no point me doing Pilates every day if my goal is to compete in a Hyrox. It needs to be aligned. And again, it's this misalignment where we fall down. All right, we have goals and then our actions are not aligned with our goals. All right. If you have business goals, are your actions in your work time aligned with those business goals? As an employee, when you go to work, your day is pretty regular, right? You get told exactly what you need to do every single day. Why? Because it is aligned with what the business wants to achieve. If you're an entrepreneur, you need to work that out for yourself. What does the business want to achieve? Where do I need to spend my time? Your nutrition. Now, for me, nutrition, for a lot of people, almost everyone, it needs to be pretty much the same. There's different ways that you can go about it, but it needs to be the same. It needs to be balanced. It needs to be calorie controlled. It needs to be clean. And then from there, little tweaks in regards to fat loss, muscle gain, overall health can be made. But we don't live in that society, right? We live in a society where the outside noise is telling us other things. How much alcohol are you drinking in a week? Are you drinking alcohol in a week? Are you drinking it on a nightly basis? How much is that impacting your level of success, your ability to stay focused? All right. I've been there. I've been the guy that on a Friday night was like, I just need to have a drink on a Friday night just to take the edge off. That was the end of the working week. And then I worked out there is no end to the working week. There are 7 days in a week. Day 1, day 2, day 3, day 4, day 5, day 6, day 7. There is no working week, non-working week. That was created, people that work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, right? And when you get into that kind of routine, generally what happens is you're really good Monday to Friday, and then you're really bad on the weekend. That's where you let your hair down, you eat a little differently, you drink a little differently, and then you get back to Monday and it's like, shit, I got to start again. Because your weekend has become your weekend. Whereas if you can just have 7 days and your actions remain the same for 7 days, yes, there might be a little bit less work time. What can you increase it with? Maybe you can increase it with family time. But why do we all of a sudden think that it's okay that we can let our nutrition go to crap, we can let our hydration go to crap for those 2 days, because essentially we thought, oh, we were good for 5, so I'm going to reward myself with 2. And that's not going to take you to where you want to go. At the end of the day, that's just going to keep you on the rat race, okay? On the ups and downs all the time, on the yo-yo. What goes up must come down. Why can't it stay consistent across the entire 7 days? So you have to be consistent every single day for you to get towards that level of success that you're looking for. We're already eating our meals. How are our meals being constructed? Are they balanced? Are we getting enough protein? Are we reducing our refined carbohydrates and sugars? What are we drinking? How much coffee are we drinking? When are we drinking coffee? I love coffee. Massive coffee fan. My first job was in a cafe. But I've learned that I've got to stop having coffee after around midday. Coffee, caffeine has this thing, or every chemical, every compound has what's called a half-life. The half-life of caffeine is 5 hours, all right? So if I have 400 milligrams of coffee at 10 o'clock in the morning, 5 hours later, I've still got 200 milligrams running around in my system. 5 hours later, I've got 100 milligrams running around in my system. People wonder why they can't sleep at night when they're having a coffee in the afternoon, that afternoon pick-me-up, right? I'm in the office, it's been one of those days, or I'm in just a habitual routine where I need to get a coffee at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. If you think about the half-life, how long is it going to take for that stimulant to be out of your system or at a level where it's not going to impact your ability to go to sleep? People that train in the afternoon or in the evening, all right? And I get people need to train at all different times, but they're in that thought process where, I've been to work, I'm going to go train, so they smash a pre-workout that's full of stimulants. And then they wonder why they can't get to sleep at night or wonder why they wake up and they're tired. So we really need to start to think about the things we're putting in our body and when we're putting them in. Having a routine around your meals. How many people on here plan their meals in advance? Do you write a menu? Writing a menu is one of the greatest ways to reduce stress in your life, but also make sure that your nutrition stays on point. Not having to think, what are we going to have for dinner tonight? What am I going to eat today? Having that planned out, taking that emotion out of it, because if you've had a shit day, your decision making around your nutrition is not going to be great. It's proven. But if you've planned for what you're going to have, then that's one less stress you've got to worry about, and it makes life so much better. Planning your meals in advance is a great way to help you stay on track with your nutrition and hit your goals. Not only that, it's going to save your bank balance because you're not going to be ordering Uber Eats on a regular basis. Plan your meals. Put it in your perfect week. What are you drinking? Water should be number one. We've spoken about coffee and the half-life and all that kind of stuff, but water is number one. The human body, 70% water. The brain, almost 80% water. When you wake up in the morning you're screaming out for that pick-me-up, it's not coffee that your body is screaming out for, it's water, because your brain is dehydrated from being asleep, for not taking in any hydration for the last 6, 7, 8 hours, however long it may be. Waking up, consuming 600 mils to a liter of water before you have your first coffee could be one of the greatest changes that you could make to your routine. And then from there, how can we reduce stress? Reducing stress is so important. Like I've said, planning is part of it. Knowing what you're going to be doing on a daily basis is super important. But there are going to be stresses that are going to come up. Stresses from work, stresses from family, okay? And how you can deal with those is going to be a big, big part of your long-term success. Stress from what you see on social media. Can you have a detox? Can you turn social media off for at least a day? One day, go without your social media. Turn off your notifications. Block all the news channels, because we know the news is curated and 9 times out of 10, it's designed to make you feel a certain way. You get one side of the story, you don't get the whole picture. It's designed to make you respond and react in a certain way and feel like the world is doomed, all right? Don't often see good news stories when you turn on the TV, when you open your social media. It's normally someone complaining, something bad that's happened. It's that creation of the whole victim mentality, which is where certain people want us to go. But when you can think for yourself, when you don't let these outside obstacles or these outside noises control your decision making, then you can stay on the path. You can stay focused. So once again, you've got your goals, long-term, short-term. You've created your plan, your perfect week formula. You're looking at your nutrition, your hydration, your stress. You've put in your movement. You've aligned your movement with what you're trying to achieve from a fitness perspective, or what you need to achieve from a fitness perspective. You've got your sleep in there. Now you're getting regular sleep and you're no longer just waking up tired, but you're waking up refreshed. And when you do these things, you are going to have better clarity. You're going to have more focus. And when you've got better mental clarity and more focus, and you've blocked all the outside noise, success is the only option that is available to you. And when you can create these consistent weeks, these consistent habits, you are going to get on that path to achieving everything that you set yourself to achieve. So guys, take the time. What do you want to achieve? What does your week look like? Plan your week in advance and just focus on the 5. Regular sleep, regular movement, and remember, move every day. Doesn't mean you need to go to the gym every day, but move every day. Get your 3 liters of water in, reduce your stress, and get that regular sleep. When you can do those 5, guys, success is inevitable. Guys, that's it for today. I hope you got some value from this episode. Can't wait to present the next one for you. Take care.